Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joseph Bradley. I'm going to do a topic today. It's a topic that a lot of spiritual people discuss. A lot of the world itself discusses on a daily basis. Creates wars. Has caused so much pain and suffering in the world. Which what I would be religion. I was raised Catholic up and even went into his highest high school. And then my mother gave me, when I basically got a certain age, she allowed me to choose my own beliefs and what I wanted to go and what direction I wanted to go in. So I ended up studying many different types of religions, including my own understanding within myself. And I kept going and asking questions to God, to the spirit world, to get answers, to try to figure stuff out. So what is a religion to me? What is religion to the world? I'm gonna get Spirit's opinion on this and just what they say about religion in general. We all know it's easy to pick on any specific religion, but is it really the religion's fault, or is it the people that run it? It's the same thing as governments. It's easy to pick on individuals. It's easy to pick on organizations. But overall, what is the cause and what is the reason why things are the way they are? Look at Jesus Christ, for instance. I believe in Jesus Christ. There's a lot of people think that spiritual people cannot believe in Jesus Christ. Well, people can believe whatever they want to believe. And it should be allowed to be that way. People should be able to go within themselves to find their own personal truths about everything. They can follow organized religions or not. The problem is when people use religion, and people even use spirituality, people use all kinds of different things to control people. Hence comes the problem. When we start manipulating the true words of the Bible, for instance, or the true words of any spiritual-based organization or any religious organization, if we start taking everything to the point where it's literal, fanatically manipulated to control masses, is when obviously things start to fall apart. Because where does that leave us? It leaves us lost, and a lot of people frustrated, angry, misunderstood. There's lots of people that will follow blindly because ultimately they just go whatever they're told. But then there's people that think for themselves. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with any way of living your life. That is your personal choice. But when a person steps out of the bounds of what somebody else believes in, all of a sudden red flags start flying up everywhere and people point fingers, people judge other people for what they believe in. Why don't we start judging people for their actions that they do? Or maybe not judge people at all because maybe we don't understand why they do the things that they do. But we can't have people going around murdering and raping people. We know that. As a human race, this is not something that is acceptable. So laws in themselves are necessary to keep people that are not willing to follow specific patterns of life. The problem is where do we draw the line? Hence, religion was created and put in place based on their belief system, is also based on controlling the masses. But how far do we go with it? And this is where so much anger and hate goes towards all sides, and all fingers are pointing in every direction, is when people judge everyone when something is slightly different. If you're a spiritual person, you must believe in Satan. You must worship Satan. You're being manipulated by Satan. Well, how about the people, the religious, for instance, we'll just say the Catholic, because it's an easy one to point out. The Catholic religion for years dominated Europe and parts of the Middle East, even dominated North America, decimated millions and millions of people in the name of religion, the name of God, because they didn't believe in Jesus Christ. I'm going to say one simple thing. Jesus Christ is here beside me right now, and he looks at everyone and says, what to that? That was done in my name, he says. I don't think so. Take a look at what he believed in, what he stood for. He went against the organized religions at the time. He stood up, even though he knew he was going to die for it. He stood up for what he believed in, even though he was going to be put to death for it. So, who's wrong in this situation? All those millions of people were killed for what they believe in. But would Jesus have killed them because they didn't believe in him? Think about this for a second. Mary Magdalene, there's lots of stories about her. Some she was rich, some she was not, some she was a hooker. It doesn't really matter. Let's say that she was a hooker, because that's one of the most common beliefs, even though it might not be accurate. He stood up for her, stopped them from stoning her to death. Ask yourself, why would he do that? Because back in the day, she could have got strung up and murdered because of what she did. They stone people to death all the time for that. But he stood up against that. He stood up against the organized religions throughout the world at the time. And we have the audacity to say today that he would not stand up and do the same thing for the organized religions that are manipulating people with fear. Did Jesus spread fear? Did he say that you're going to burn in hell because of what you do? Did he say that? He did not, did he? So why would you think that Jesus would want to murder everybody? Because they believe in something different. There's people out there that will say, and I say this in a statement a lot of the times, you have an individual that is a perfect human being in the sense of the most righteous, loving being on earth, but never knew Jesus. There's people out there that say that he will not go to heaven because of it. Seriously, think about that statement. Jesus at the time stood up for all the people in the world, no matter what they were, even if there were people that were murderers, as long as they believed and love. They wanted to change. They forgive themselves for what they do. They're still able to go to heaven. Do you honestly think if you came across a man or a woman that never understood or never even knew anything about any religion in the world, that they were going to be condemned to go to hell or never be able to go to heaven because they didn't believe in Jesus? I want any of you guys, anybody, to really sit down and give me an explanation of how that makes any sense whatsoever. You can go and make up some reason why But ultimately, is it what Jesus would have done when he stood on this earth? Do you honestly think he would condemn a man because he was the best person, or the best of all of us, just because he didn't know him? Because it's written somewhere in somebody's version of something that take it literally to the point. We all know the Bible itself was written well after he died. It was written by men, controlled by organized religions that murdered people because they didn't believe in what they were doing. A religion that went around to all over the world condemning everybody else because they didn't believe in that specific type of religion. It was rewritten and rewritten and rewritten many times. You're going to put all your faith in that and take that absolutely literal? Written for people 2,000 years ago, in the way they thought and the way they did things. I ask you one question. What are the laws now compared to they were then? Are they the same? Have they changed? Has science changed? Has people thinking changed at all in 2,000 years? So you're going to put all your faith in things that were written 2,000 years ago for people that thought differently, that did things completely different. The laws were different. The science was different. Everything was different. The stories were meant as stories. They were meant to inspire people. They were never meant to take one sentence out of a paragraph and say this is literal. I always look at things and say, what would have Jesus done in this situation? How would he decided to do? What would he have done? What decision would he have made if he walked on this earth right now? Walking down the street, what would he do? Walking into all the churches of the world today, do you think he would just say, this is perfect just the way it is? Look of the chaos in the world today, how we mistreat, judge everybody. It's one thing we're not supposed to do is judge anybody. So why do you think that is? Why do you think that statement was even ever said? Because we don't understand enough about everybody to judge them correctly. How can we? How do I know anything about you? You're watching this video. How do I know anything about who you are? How can I judge you when I don't even know anything about you? How can you judge me when you don't know anything about me? About my life and the things I've been through? What gives you the right to judge me? What gives me the right to judge you? So in that statement, religion is what? Religion at the core of the understanding of what it is beautiful. Spirituality is the same thing. It's beautiful. It's to inspire people to become full of love. When you start throwing fear into it, when you start making people afraid to even think for themselves, there's something wrong with that. Jesus was a free thinker. Jesus went out and did things totally different because he went in himself to find the truth. And he even says that we need to do the same. To truly find the truth, you must go within yourself, because our bodies are their temples. Our bodies are worthy. It's such a complex topic. I could be talking for hours to try to explain anything and still never get anywhere. So the question is, let's speak to Jesus about this topic. If he's willing to speak to me, then maybe he'll speak to you through me. Just give me one moment and I'll connect with him. It is always a pleasure to speak with such a loving entity, a loving soul, a loving spirit, a loving reflection of God. I'm walking towards a bright light. There's a shadow of a humanoid shape. His chest is so bright. It dims down, and I grab him as he falls to the ground. He just looks up at me. Thanks for grabbing me. Thanks for preventing me from hitting the ground. The question is, why would you have done that? Would you have done that for anyone else? And I say, yes, I would have, if I could get there in time. He stands up. He looks at everyone through me. What would you have done? If you've seen an old man fall to the ground, would you help him up? What would you do if a homeless person fell down? Would you pick them up? Would you just leave them there and turn around and pretend that nothing ever happened? Would you actually go and help them up? You want to know about religion and what my beliefs are on that. My belief is in you. Every single one of you, a part of myself, is with you, always, helping you understand what is right and wrong. I do not judge you. I do not you expect to judge others. All I do is want you to realize that you are all beautiful and you all deserve love. I do not care anything about religion. I only care about love and understanding of all life on earth and in the heavens. Joseph, you mentioned a man that did not know me. I tell you this, if such a man came across, I would bow down in front of him on one knee and wash his feet, because that man deserves heaven more than most men on earth. And I would gladly open the gates for him to join me in heaven, and I will personally wash his feet. And anyone that could condemn such a man, to a place of hell, I would not wash your feet, but I would cry for you. and I will still try to help you. But my tears, I would hope my tears would reach your heart so you would understand and stop persecuting people in my name. I do not judge. All I wish is everyone to love one another. I wish everyone would walk freely into the gates of heaven. That everyone would come in peace and harmony and love, and that this will spread across the world. I look at everything that has happened since I was there. I take a deep breath, and I try not to cry. All the death in my name, it is a hard burden to hold in my heart. So I cry, allow my tears to flow over the world, so you may start to understand that this is not who I was. This is not what I wanted. I wanted you to go within yourselves, to find the courage to stand up for the truth and love, respect for each other, to love one another. So my views on religion are: do not judge each other, as I don't judge you. Do not hurt one another, because I don't hurt you. Respect one another, as I respect you. But love each other, as I love you. Stop fighting in the name of religions and spiritualities, any belief system, because they're all basically trying to teach you how to love each other, to respect each other. The people that misuse the powers are the ones that spread this hate. So if you want to be Catholic, then be a good Catholic. Be a loving Catholic. Go within yourself as I am with you, and I will help you, guide you throughout your life. You do not need someone else to tell you what to do, because the religion, the truth is within yourself. The spiritual people of the world. It is not religion itself that is bad, it's the people who misuse it. So stop hating religious people. Stop judging them. It goes both ways. If religion judges spirituality and spirituality judges religion, both of you fail in what you both are trying to do. You need to come together as one people, as one love. That is what I want from all of you. Love. That was a message from Jesus to you and to me. Thank you. That was a beautiful experience. If you wish to visit my website, it's at www.amonrasawakening.com, and you can visit my other website, www.josephbradleyaurores.com. It's one of my pictures right up there. And thank you very much for watching the video. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak my words to the world, to speak Jesus' words to the world. Have a great night. Take care.